All right, everybody, welcome to episode 210 of Keeping It Real. I'm your host, Kadis, and today, before I say anything else, I want to actually check to make sure that this is, in fact, episode 210. I'm like 95% sure it is, and if you know this show, you know that we check sometimes. Yep, 210. Welcome. Seriously, welcome. If you are the 3 people that I showed that I did this to, that I met through Leighton and Luke tonight, welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy this show. If you're planning on listening to the whole thing, that's great. If you're not planning on anything in particular, just poking around, I ask you to stay. I have in my notes a certain order of doing things, but I'm going to actually swap these two things. First thing I'm going to do is break down how this show is going to go. We're going to split it into 3 segments. The first segment is going to be 20 minutes long, and I'm going to keep it real. All segments will be 20 minutes long, and they'll add up to about an hour-long episode. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to tell you about my life. I've got college starting soon. I'm going home to spend time with my family. I'm gonna confess. I'm gonna do my best to be vulnerable and tell you how things are going with me. After those 20 minutes are up, we're gonna jump into, after a quick ad spot, aging as a human being. That's gonna be our topic for the second. I think I'd like to run that through very quickly while live. I'm gonna run that through ChatGPT, because I just feel like that it might not be the best topic name, I guess, to truly spark thought. I kind of spitballed it, but when we're talking about, when we're talking about best time for probiotics, is it Venus, AI logo design, content strategy? Okay, in today's episode, I'm going aging as a human being for the topic of the second segment. And maybe help me reword this in a way that better start to a 20-minute segment. Let's see what I can come up with. A bit clinical. You want something that feels conversational. What getting older is really teaching me about life. The weird ways you start to notice you're not 18 anymore. How growing up, reflective, deeper. Well, for this segment, over the past 2 days, we've done Israel and Palestine. And then we did artificial general intelligence yesterday. So what could be a good real world thing today? Loneliness is quietly becoming an epidemic. Social media is changing what it means to be a friend. The shrinking middle class, what's it like to be average today? How climate anxiety is shaping our generation. Social media is changing and what it means to be a friend. Ties to daily life but has death. How social media is changing is a great... That's what we're going to do. Okay, so this is all just part of the intro. I apologize for how loose this is, but that's going to be the second segment, and then we're going to have a break for an ad spot, and we're going to finish the episode off with some advice/philosophy. Just a good cap. We don't have Griffin on the phone today. That's neither here nor there. I'm going to start our first 20-minute timer, and we're live. So this is social media is changing what it means to be a friend. So I don't know. I don't know what to say, really. When things have like when the world puts like when like when you go to school, it's not you. There's classes and people and systems and syllabi, and like you didn't do any of that. But when you have a podcast and the first segment is you're supposed to keep it real and be vulnerable, I mean, you could just leave it at be vulnerable. You don't even have to say when you have a podcast. But when it comes to being vulnerable, intentionally speaking, telling, explaining, and becoming a version of yourself that is in a state where they feel uncomfortable, opened, I have no idea how to do it. Even though sometimes I do, I think. Sometimes I think I'm wildly capable at this, and that I'm actually, in comparison to all the people I've met that are, maybe I'm like, have this hyper ability to be extremely opened. And then, so what do I, what do I say, or what do I talk about? I have no idea what to talk about. I've got ChatGPT pulled up on my computer right now, and my dad is hooking me up with GPT-4o. It costs monthly. It costs $20 monthly. So I can see what he uses it for, and then I can also see how he uses it. And I mean, just for example, if I click on this one right here, he wants to know if there's a really bright star in the eastern sky. Is it a planet? He's using GPT to try to figure out if the star he's looking at is a planet. And GPT tells him it's Venus. But what you'll notice, or what I notice at least, when I look at the prompts that he gives to ChatGPT, is there's never any punctuation errors. And he's so well spoken through his text. And every time, like there's one in particular where he's asking ChatGPT to help him make this logo for a club he wants to start with his friends. And it's not getting it right. And he's extremely patient. He just keeps on typing with perfect punctuation over and over again, like, this is wrong, fix this. This is wrong, fix this. This is wrong, fix this. And eventually he ends up with the right logo. I just feel like, and I have no idea why I feel like, I don't know why I compare myself to him so much, but I just feel like he's like unreachable, dude. Like he's so like good at life. Like he's like I remember when I was really little and I would climb all on him in the pool and stuff. And then I got older and, realized that like maybe he wasn't actually like the strongest person to ever walk the earth. But my opinion on his mind, like his mind, his brain, how he thinks, and the way he's organized his world around him, I'm in awe, kind of, I guess. And I don't like, I'm going to be spending, I'm going to drive home with him. A lot of things have to happen before then, and it's really coming up very, very fast. And in 18 minutes, it's going to be Sunday. And I just have a lot to do. Tomorrow, I'm running 10 miles. And I don't know. I really don't know what to say. And I feel stupid because this, I've kind of let it go, I guess, a bit. Like, these last 2 episodes were really on point. Really on point. I kept my words flowing throughout the entirety of the episode. But even just at the start of this episode, I didn't have my topics nailed down, and then I'm like reading on ChatGPT, and it's just not really what I'm supposed to be doing. But I just fixed that. I closed my laptop and I X'd out of the ChatGPT. So now all I see is how the audio sounds and how long I've been recording. And at the 20-minute mark, I'm going to transition. So this way I don't have to worry about stopping and starting a timer. And I can don't have to have a screen opened. But as time goes on and I get older, I am starting to believe that I'm never going to outgrow like a certain fear, I guess. I was going to say I'm never going to outgrow thinking that I'm not good enough, but I think that I actually am on course to outgrow that, because I remember when it all started. It was when I hit puberty. Everything got really, really, really weird. I remember looking at my arms and I was like, I'm so skinny. Or like I remember looking at like the way I was built as like a human being and being like, I don't know. It was just all of a sudden there was like intense sadness out of nowhere. That's what puberty will do to you. And it like manifested itself throughout my childhood. And I think over the past couple of years, I'm really starting to build a system of workarounds and I'm developing the ability to coexist with all the really shitty parts of what it means to be me. So, yeah. I don't know. It's funny because I feel like sometimes I just feel like, man, I wish someone just told me that they were really proud of me. But I just know that if I heard that right now, if someone told me that right now, I wouldn't even let it go into my ears. Like, I don't like I have someone commenting on these videos now. Their username says something about September or something. Yesterday, or this morning, I read a comment they left about like they were gonna watch something else, but then my thumbnail and video popped up, and the comment was so nice. Like, it was just like telling me that like that whatever they were gonna watch didn't have purpose, or like the time that they were gonna spend watching whatever else they were gonna watch was meaningless. But then my video gave that time meaning because they got to watch my video instead. And that is just like the most sweet and kind thing anyone could ever say, especially on this, my hobby that I pour myself into. And like, but it's like I don't even let that, like, I don't even really like care. Like, I read it and I'm just like, whatever. Like, I just think about how like that's the only comment I got for that entire 4-hour stretch. Or, like, it's like I just find the instant way to not care. Like, it's muscle memory for me not to care. And it makes sense for it to be like that, because why should I care? Why should it matter? why am I even reading it in the first place? Like, I should be, like, when I'm waking up, I should not be on a screen. Like, I should be doing all these things. And even right now, my house is clean, but, like, why does it matter? Like, I'm still eating junk food. So what if my house is clean? Like, who cares? And and that's the thing. Like, I know if I woke up tomorrow, like, it would be a shock and it would be amazing and it would be cool if, like, I had 1 million subscribers and hundreds of thousands of views on this episode. But it wouldn't, like, nothing would fundamentally change. I would still just long to be understood and seen. And there would be no, like, it would just be a little bit different of a challenge here, a little bit different of a viewpoint there. Like, and that difference comes regardless of, like, that difference comes every single day. There's a right way to do this and there's a wrong way. And I just feel like every single day I do it the wrong way. But then I tell then it's like, but I'm still doing it. Isn't just doing it on its own, isn't that right? I don't know. I'm stressed the hell out right now, and I just feel like Griffin's not here, nobody's here, it's late at night. Like, I just wish, like, I just wish somebody was here. Like, I just wish somebody was, like, sitting on my bed. Like, I would love to sit on somebody's bed while they do this show. I think that'd be so cool. I'd do whatever I normally do, but I would just be next to somebody. Like, I can't, like, I long for the day that I hate living alone. I hate living alone. And what's going to happen is these people are going to move in, and I'm going to meet these new people, and one of them's the old, and I just can't, like, I'm excited, but I won't let myself get too excited because I just feel like they're going to come and they're going to, it's just the weirdest thing. Because say that person was behind me on my bed right now, and say that they were there for the next 50 episodes. I guarantee you, I'd look at the camera and I'd say, man, it'd be nice if this person just wasn't behind me and I could be alone again for keeping it real. You know, like, it's almost like, and I know that this is true, and it makes me feel so insignificant and stupid and like a data point. Like, none of it really matters. And it's hard for me to say that none of that's true. As people, we desire, we crave the challenge and the strain and the difficulty. Pick out any single person. They make their own lives harder. They do. Every single person. And they all do it in a little bit of a different way. Nobody, and I mean nobody, makes their life easier. I don't care what they say or how you say they do what. Every single person strives every day to make their life harder. Because that's how we work. That's how we are. I know it's scary to think that your free-thinking mind that can think your own thoughts and keep secrets and exist on your own actually isn't that different from the next guy's mind. But it is true. It is true. It is true. There was a time when something closely related to us, a sapien, traveled in a pack alone across an ice bridge from Russia to Alaska. And it was probably extremely treacherous. We never had to move as people. We never had to move. There was never a time as people where within a 100, 200, 300 mile radius, there wasn't everything we would need for generations to survive. Yet, for some reason, off the coast of Africa, people crafted and got on rafts and boats and just pushed off from shore No paddles, no sail, no nothing. And now here I am, and you got to look at the choices that I've made, choices that anyone ever has made around you. It's all the same. We do the same. It's not that different. We're just a little bit better at not dying. I don't want to be here right now. I don't want to talk to the mic right now. I don't want to do any of this. And after this is done, this for me is far from done because I have more to do. A 10-minute video, a bunch of short form content that I push out of my ass every day. And I'm sure it shows. If you go to my Instagram, my TikTok, it's mindless, brainless, meaningless. But I have to do it. Because I don't know. I guess at the very end of the day, I can at least say that I'm somewhat harnessing what I know is my superpower. Just like the next guy's superpower. I know my superpower is to make things just a little bit harder for myself every day. I know it. And the more that I do this video stuff, the more videos that I make, the more it's like a guy like Pete comes over here, grabs the mic, and is like, dude, what are you doing? Like, your house is a mess. And honestly, can I be completely honest with you? Pete, if you're listening to this, I have some words for you, man. I see that you comment a lot on, like, so not just my stuff, but, like, on other things. I can see. It shows me that you comment on things. Stop doing that. Get the fuck off your phone, okay? I'm not saying I'm always off my phone. But stop you should do not if you I don't know, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I just whatever. Next segment. We're done. Social media is changing. Perfect segue. Social media is changing. Let's roll it. Social media is changing. 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 This is an interesting topic. Social media is changing. Well, everything's always changing all the time. There's never a thing that's not changing. As time continues, the moment that we are in right now just carries on to the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. And social media is just as subject to that change as anything else. I think I see the change in social media as a sort of I see social media growing, showing wrinkles, I guess. In I think the traditional what we understand as social media today is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter. These are social media. And they are getting old. And these wrinkles, I think they tell a big story. I think that these wrinkles allow for the discussion of maybe what comes next. I see the world and people as the one thing that will stay constant. And not even the world necessarily. I just see people. I don't think that people are going to go away ever. I think that in the face of whatever comes next, we will not only prevail, but spread. not only survive, but prosper. I think that there is no denying that the human mind will transcend what we know today as this universe. Whatever is beyond, whatever is next, we are coming for. And it is only a matter of time, not a matter of ability. From what I know, there are things that, have the chance of wiping us out. And these things realistically are a plague, sort of like COVID-19, but extremely deadly. And without without ability to control, an airborne disease that not only feasts upon the human organ as a parasite, but is able to eat and live off of the air that we breathe. But those things already exist. They're just not deadly to us. I mean, when you inhale so many particles. Lots are living things you're inhaling in the air. Life is so incredibly abundant on Earth. It is insane. There is just so many cells. Regardless, that could happen. That's a possibility. There's also a meteor or some sort of asteroid coming, but we can see these things in advance, and we would... Well, I don't know. I just, when we talk about social media, I think about it in the long run. That's how I want to think about it. I want to think about it long term, because that's just, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't think of it that way, but that's when I say social media is changing and we begin to talk about it. I want to talk about first the big picture, and in this big picture, it's still a baby. But like I said at the beginning, I think it is a baby with wrinkles. I think social media was just born, and it was really fresh, and we seriously took a lot of pictures with it. We shared it a bunch, and we kind of used up all its smiles and excitement and all. Mom, I know you just heard me yawn, and you're probably like, oh, just go to bed, go to bed. I'm okay. Seriously, I have to do this. I can't go to bed before I do this. Please don't have no sympathy for me. I made poor choices. I should have done this earlier. But social media is changing. And you say, Jack, how many times are you just going to repeat the topic over and over again? Well, as many times as it takes for me to form an actual palpable opinion. I think that we will see what we know today as the main buildings. If you think of the internet as a campus, these main buildings are YouTube. YouTube is wildly successful as a company. It's not even its own company, but if it was, it would rival companies like Netflix and, all these big dogs. YouTube is huge, humongous. I think it's going to dissolve. I think that it will transcend its label of YouTube. I think that it will shed its red logo. I think it will evolve past its terms of service and its copyright laws and it's this and it's that. I think it's only a matter of time until what we see when we go, what today we would call online, looks much like what we see when we walk outside our front door. The world is something we don't think about much. however we interact with it every day. It shapes and molds us as much as we shape and mold it. It is like this crazy truth to everything. There's us and there's our skin, and then there's what's on the other side of our skin. And we build these tools to use them. And we're at this point in the world where we're so aware of this. We're so insanely aware of the fact that we can evolve through the building and use of new tools. It's all about tools. What can we make to be a tool, and how can this tool be a better tool? That I see it as only a matter of time before the internet is not something to be thought of as trapped in a box, not something to be even spoken about like it's an act. Even this conversation topic, social media is changing. I have to remind myself, the way that I think about it, I'm 22 damn years old. The people that are being born right this instant are going to live in this world where this new tool is being born. And it's such a powerful tool that we could compare it. We could go back in time to the inception and invention of the lathe. With the lathe, we invented screws. And the lathe was one of the first things that could make more lathes. Shaping metal in that way and doing it with this tool, the lathe, created everything. Every single thing that it all started with the lathe. And if you even want to go back a little bit more, it was the rock. When you found that good rock that could hit that thing the right way. Today's lathe, today's rock is the internet. And we're living through this crazy time where all these generations of people, all these different ages of human beings that have experienced the world in these rapidly different ways are trying their hand at mastering the new lathe. Even the ones that aren't even aware of it. Especially the ones that aren't even aware of it. It is a tool that calls to us and a tool that we gravitate towards, and it has massive implications in everything. The internet changes everything. And social media, I think, is just a crazy way to try and divide up the internet. It's like you have this, you have that, and then there's social media. The whole internet is social media. The lathe built screws. It did not connect people like the internet does. If I want to, I can talk to anyone that wants to talk to me anywhere, as so long as we have the tool. It kind of sucks the fun out of everything. At least that's what the older people would say. My parents would say that. They would say it sucks the fun out of everything. And your mom probably tells you it's that damn phone. But the kids being born right now, these 50, 60, 70-year-old people, they won't be, it doesn't matter what they think, because this tool is coming for these kids. Along with taking their first steps, saying their first word, even opening their eyes for the first time as a very, very newborn infant, they will interact with the internet for the first time. And this can be in wildly different settings and instances, and who knows what the first way that they'll, for me it was YouTube, but there's no more, like, there, that was so long ago now that it, for them, there's no telling what the first, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of young children are scrolling in that format. It might be YouTube. I mean, but in 20, 30 years, I mean, it's incomprehensible what this will do to us. I mean, it is so insanely beyond my imagination. I can throw things out there. Like, I can say, like, I can try and give you this grand picture of, how we see it today, and how these brands exist. These things are going to dissolve, and they're going to give way to a more general use case and more widely available, acceptable, understood, and usable item. And I honestly can't tell you, how that's going to work on the monetary side, where, like, how the money will change and flow. What will, I mean, these companies have all, grabbed, like, they've taken their hands. It's like this mad rush where everyone is trying to fit as much candy into their pockets as possible. But I just think that slowly over time, that candy is not going to be worth anything. And it's going to change hands so many times, and there's going to be a new candy. I mean, what is next? Like, we're talking about money. Like, what transcends money? I mean, we can just slow it down a bit. The U.S. dollar, I don't think, is going to be around forever. It can't be. It can't be. The way that we print money does not align with the growth of the population. And in the next decade or so, we as a world will start to shrink. There's going to be less and less people born. I mean, look at me, for example. I don't have any kids, and I don't know when I'm going to have kids. We can't just keep printing. It's elementary school stuff. If you have $1 and that's the only dollar in circulation, then that dollar is worth 100% of everything. Then if you print a second dollar, that same dollar that you just had that was worth 100%, that could buy anything, can now only buy half of everything. That's it. And so on and so forth and so on and so forth. Every day the United States prints so much money. So much money. But, it's never happened like it's happening today. Our military is still the strongest by such a large margin. There is still some weird, wicked American dream that exists somehow. People still move to the United States. I think just like social media and the internet, these countries, we will dissolve. There's not going to be any more countries. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I thought it was so stupid how we sign these countries. I mean, we sign these contracts and treaties as nations where we just promise not to do this or realign with this person. It's no different than a toddler. It's no different than 2 7-year-olds agreeing to share a crayon. These things, they will not go forward. There is not going to be a European Union. Like, that is ridiculous. It's always been silly to me. It's always been silly to me. Anyway, that's the end of, we've been forgetting to do our ad reads. I don't think I've done a single ad read all episode. So if you'd like to buy this spot right here, it's 2 minutes. It costs you $10. Send me an email at jackkadis@gmail.com. That's jacklkadis@gmail.com. In place of what could be your ad today, I'd like to plug my own YouTube channel. I think you should subscribe. I think that I deserve it. And I think that you would enjoy seeing the way that I continue to do this. All right, moving into our final segment of the episode, I'm going to be talking to you about my philosophy, some advice that I can give. I think I'd like to start this segment by bringing into picture my shift at work today. I clocked in at 3 p.m., and I clocked out at 9:30 p.m. Now, when I clocked in, I realized that my trusted coworker, the one that had the most experience, more than me, she's quite older than me, and she's got a great work ethic. I discovered that I would not be working with her. As I was clocking in, she was headed home. So that meant I was working with the new guy. One that is around my age, one that honestly I suspect when he goes to the bathroom smokes some sort of weed or something, or takes some sort of pill, or snorts something, or what. Just a suspicion. He probably doesn't. I don't know what it is. But his work ethic, I won't even say work ethic. He's just new. That's all it is. He's new. And it can be frustrating, I think, because you have this standard for how your day might go. And when you don't have a job, this isn't a problem. But when you work a job, especially in fast food, the standard is almost chaos. And it's really hard to find a rhythm or a groove where you can say, hey, my standard is actually a well-maintained, well-cleaned restaurant that satisfies whatever customer walks through the doors or orders online. That's really hard, and it's what you want. It's what you want, because whether or not you see this job as your future, whether or not you care about your boss, whether or not you care for the company you're working for, or even for the customers you're serving, it's just for me personally how I've landed on, what's the word I'm looking for right now? It's ethics. It's virtue. It's the virtue that I stand for. So today in work, I approached my shift with a good attitude, and I thought about how I wanted to proceed in terms of, I have all these hours looking up at me. Like it's 4 p.m. now, and I'm stuck here. I don't, it's, if I decide I want to do this or decide that I want to do that, I cannot. My prior self has made choices that have in turn imprisoned me in this store for the next 6.5 hours. So I treat it like I will treat my 10-mile run tomorrow. Tomorrow I have to run 10 miles. I'm training for a marathon. And I'll be running that 10 miles at a 14-minute a mile pace. And the way that I will run this 10 miles is I will not stop running for the entirety of the 10 miles. And I will do my best to focus on and maintain a 14-mile pace with the goal of completing the run. It's when you start the run, there's only one thing on your mind. I want to finish this run. I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to maintain pace. I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to maintain pace. So when I clock in for the shift and I'm looking at all these hours facing me, I'm not saying here that I'm going to keep working nonstop for 6.5 hours straight, maintain pace. But I am saying I'm going to try and find a pace here. I'm going to try and find a rhythm, find a pace where I'm, say, doing a task with my next task in mind. Don't want to look any deeper than that. Then I'm doing the next task with the next task in mind. No deeper than that. I rely on my muscle memory, and I also rely on my in-the-moment problem-solving skills. Because I am now with a new guy, one that kind of throws off my muscle memory a bit. The more that I work the job, the more experienced I get. And it can be jarring, I think, when you continue to gain experience and then you're thrown into a shift with someone that is just beginning to figure out what gaining experience looks like for them in this space. You know, you have a rough idea of what this person is capable of, the work that they can do and such, but you don't, it kind of makes it, it's almost like if I left for a run and was like, I don't know how many miles I'm going to run. Because that screws up the entire dynamic. And with work, it might be like, I don't know what this shift's going to look like, or maybe how I'm going to feel when I clock out. Because there's many different ways to feel at the end of a shift. There's like the, get me the hell out of here, I hated this entire thing. There's like the, this was a good shift, I'll see the work again tomorrow. There's all these sorts of different, finish line crossings of a shift at work. And today I really was, despite the variables that weren't in my control, which, there are also variables not in my control on a run, I decided that I was really shooting for a shift that I finished and where I felt satisfied with my work, proud of how I left the store, and ready and / with enough energy to go home and complete my remaining tasks for the day. So with that finish line crossing in mind, I set a sort of pace for myself. A way of doing things. And I stuck to that pace. The only time I broke the pace was to eat. I broke the pace to have what I would call a meal, but was not really, it was a meal. It was just more of like a collection of snacks that I ate all at once, and that was my meal. Not ideal. Mom, I know I'm yawning, but you got to understand that I have to do this. Like there's no way around it. So don't be upset. I'm not tired. I'm okay. And I will make it to bed. And I'm going to do better to do this in the morning, manage my time better. I'm working on it, but this has to be done. In the way you can think of this as time. I'm currently managing my time, just not very well. So I'm okay. Please, that's why I don't need to hear for like, oh, I felt so bad for you. You kept yawning. I felt, sometimes I can feel that you feel like, you like feel my pain, which is, I don't know how to say this, frustrating. And I know that, it's a blessing to have someone that cares enough about you to feel your pain, but you feeling my pain does not take any of my pain away from me. Okay. If anything, it honestly just adds more. So please don't. Please, I'm okay. This episode's almost over. I should be done with all of this around 3 a.m, and I'll go to bed. It's all not that big of a deal. So continuing, this guy that I work with, he just, despite having so much experience and despite being like so weirdly well-spoken, he seems just so nervous and out of place. And I don't know what it is about about him, but I think he's having just a very hard time adapting to the environment and figuring out how to make the space his own. He's been there for long enough, and he's had other jobs. He got hired because he worked in other sandwich shops. But for some reason, when no customers are coming in and I'm cleaning whatever, he stands behind me and I can just feel him there, and I can just feel him there. And then I finally look at him and he asks me, is there anything that I can do? And that question is like, I just think he's too old to be asking that question, because it reminds me of, the younger, freshmen and sophomores in high school that I'll work with from time to time. This guy's my age, from my understanding. I'm pretty sure he's in college, and I don't understand how he's been there for so long and worked so many hours and so many shifts and isn't taking a better, broader understanding of what it means to be on the clock. I don't see how he can't begin to at least, why isn't he trying to, on his own, be useful? Because I can't, there's not a scenario in which I or someone else shadows him for an entirety of 6.5 hours and tells him exactly what to do. That's not going to help him get there at all. What's going to help him get there is if he decides finally to start to think of his job in terms of his job. This is his job. It's not my job. He's not working my job. He's working his job. So what does it mean to work his job? And today I took the role of, I guess what I did today is I focused on keeping my pace. I think that this sort of thing can be very disruptive to a pace when you have someone that wants you to constantly guide them. It can be stressful because that's not my job, I guess I could say. That's not guiding somebody does not help me. That does not help the store. It does not help it could, but that's not it's a whole new thing. And I guess in a sense, what I'm doing by keeping my pace is guiding this person. I think what I'm doing by staying and maintaining a pace and continuing to move to the next task and the next task and the next task for the entirety of the shift, minus a brief window for eating, because eating, simply put, helps you keep a pace. You got to feed your body. You have to drink water. I think this is the best way to guide. And when the direct question is asked, when he says, is there anything I can do? Well, it's kind of like when you're on a run and you look down at your watch and you realize you're a minute over pace. Just slow down a bit. Change course with the intention of finding your stride. So when I'm asked, is there anything I can do? And I have to put down what I'm now doing to look at you and tell you what I think you should be doing, which is extremely ironic in a weird way. I do it, and I put and if anything, I treat it as a nice breather from the work that I'm doing. And I open my eyes and I look around and I try and pick out something that is very easy, very elementary, very simple, very, I don't want to say dumb, but it's very with stuff that not broad, nothing broad. If I'm never going to say clean the lobby. I'm never going to tell him to clean the lobby. I've told him to clean the lobby before and it just doesn't get cleaned. It doesn't get cleaned. And it doesn't get cleaned, and it doesn't get cleaned right. So I think, what can I do to ensure that whatever happens as a result of my voice is at the very least close enough to correct, to the point where I don't have to completely do it again myself or fix a mistake that would if even taken me longer than it would have taken me to do it myself if there was never any intervention. Well, maybe replace the drinks in the fridge, or I'm breathing and I'm thinking through this and I'm like, why don't you just fill up this one sauce? We have like 7 sauces, but I'm only going to tell you to fill up this one sauce. And then he comes back again, and I'm like, okay, how about fill up the vinegar and oil bottles just on this half? And it's not like I'm intentionally it's not like I'm making it clear that these tasks are dumb. It's not like I'm saying, only do this, like using a condescending tone. In reality, I'm actually treating him like a friend, treating him like I would treat my own brother, just like a homie. If anything, someone that I hope thinks that I'm cool. Just socially interacting with this guy on like a decent human being level. But under it all, and my process, it's all about I'm on the clock, I'm working my shift, and this is the problem that's arose, and this is how I'm maintaining my pace, keeping everything working, level, moving forward, uniformed, compact, and repeatable. We ended up being done right at 9:25, clocking out at 9:30, and I think the store looks great. I think the openers tomorrow will say Jack did a fantastic job. But this guy has just got, this guy, I'm not gonna actually sit here and say that I think he has to pick it up. Who am I to say at what pace he's learning this new job? I don't know. I don't know, what he's got going on, what his intentions are for like I said earlier, it's his job. It's honestly not really my concern. But I can't help but tell you, like at the end of the night, he kept coming back, and it could have been because I set a good example, and he genuinely didn't know what to do, and he wanted to be busy because he saw how not only was I busy right there in the moment, but I had been busy consistently since my time of clocking in, and who knows what he thought, but people do what people do, and at the end of the shift, there was like 3 or 4 times. He'd finish a task, and then he'd come back and ask me for a new task. Come back, ask me for a new task. Come back, ask me for a new. And then on like the 4th time, I was like, okay, let's try and up it a little bit. If you're going to keep coming back to me until you finish the task, then let's try and make your next task a little bit more complex. So I said, all right, you fill up this one sauce bottle, and then go ahead and top off all these mushrooms, peppers, onions. I'm telling you, that is very simple. Very simple. It is very, very simple. It's like if you look at somebody on the street and say, hey, can you draw a picture of a house? It is just a very straightforward, there's no room for interpretive thinking. It's just topping off an ingredient in the line. And as we're closing and I'm turning the lights off and I'm checking to make sure everything's shut, I look and I'm like, dude, he didn't put any extra mushrooms, pepper, I'm going to remember that, and next time we're going to have to stay dumb. I don't know, hopefully I just hope that eventually he stops. There's another new guy, he's the same age and everything, and he just gets it. And I'm excited because coming up, I'm only going to be working weekends, and I've been told that it's just going to be me and him, this new guy, that just gets it. I mean, he just gets it. He's never, he definitely asks, what can I do now? He definitely asks. And I've definitely given him tasks before. But he does the tasks good. He always does the task right. And then you can tell he's growing. He understands how to exist. He's making it his job, and it's amazing because it really opens the door for me and him to truly be friends. There is more downtime at a job where both people know how to do the job efficiently and effectively. There is barely any downtime at a job where only one of the two people knows how to do the job. That makes it all better. It does. It makes it all better. And I can't wait. Can't wait. So, with that being said, this is the end of episode 210. Mom, I'm going to get to bed. Please. Seriously, I know I'm yawning, but I'm going to get to bed. I promise. Started off rough, got really interesting, ended pretty solid. So I'll see you tomorrow. And leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Peace.